beautiful ladies and gentlemen. How are you feeling? Ask me, ask me. I am feeling much better than yesterday, but I've got amazing guests today. Mary, oh, I am so excited to have you as my guest today, and it's only you and me on the show, and we are part of Soul of a Diamond TV show, and Mary is going to come and tell her story to us. Part of Mary's story will go into the Diamond Moment magazine. I will do a beautiful article for you, my beautiful Mary, in July's issue, plus your banner that I've already made for you and I send it to you. And then you will also be part of our book compilation called Soul of a Diamond that will be launched on June 25th. So we are so excited. So, my beautiful Mary, can you please introduce yourself and tell us where you're from?
Yes, thank you so much for having me on the show, Sinette. I have to say that I love you so much and I thank you for everything you've done for me. And I'm so excited to be in the soul of a diamond with you. So thank you. And my name's Mary Robinson, and I'm from Fremont, Nebraska. And I am a teacher of the visually impaired and a certified orientation and mobility specialist. And so I work with kids ages 0 to 21 years old throughout the district, whoever needs assistance with their visual needs and adaptations. And so I guess where do you want me to start, Sinette? I mean, I could start anywhere you'd like. I could
But
start in
tell us,
childhood.
no, we're going to start now, but tell us first where you're from.
I'm from Fremont, Nebraska.
Okay, wow. Okay, thank you. So I just wanted to let all the ladies and the gentlemen know from my amazing group, the Diamond Beauties Forever and the Tanzanite Hero. While it's Mary's show today, we're not going to do a shout out, but I am going to do a shout out quickly to Michelle. So what I'm going to do, Mary, as soon as there's a message coming out in, I will be showing you underneath, but we will not talk because I don't want you to lose the trend of your thought while you're telling us. But I just wanted to mention to everyone, I will show you your comments to Mary and myself, but we will not do a shout out. So thank you, Michelle, for being with us, and congratulations for Saturday for your opening of your beautiful place. Okay. So first of all, before we start, my beautiful Mary, can I show you your commercial I made for
Ooh.
you?
Yes, I haven't even seen it yet. I'm excited.
So I will be sending this through to you through WeTransfer because it was too big to put onto Messenger. But are you ready to see your reel or your commercial?
Yes, I am.
Here we go.
Hello, I'm Mary Robinson, and I'm the author of Seed, Stem, Bloom, Lessons from My Faith-Led Journey Through Cancer. Yes, you heard that dreaded C word. Well, I want people to see the can in cancer. I'm a 2-time survivor of acute myeloid leukemia, and a gracious donor saved my life through a stem cell transplant in 2017. And I wanted to share my story so that I could help others going through trials. Throughout this process, I became a certified healing touch practitioner, a Reiki master, and I also want to help others reach their goals. So I started a business called Kaleidoscope Energy. I'm hoping that I could help you reach your goals too.
How did you like your commercial?
You know, it was absolutely wonderful. I have to say though, except on my side, it was cutting in and out a little bit, which is too bad. So I didn't get to see the whole thing. But thank you because I love the colors that you used and the sparkles. It reminds me of the soul of a diamond. And anyway, thank you so much for putting all that work into it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I will play your commercial once again, and then I also will play Natalie McQueen, our sponsor, and she's also she's the publisher of our Soul of a Diamond a little bit later on. But I want first, you can start your story anywhere you want to start, um, and then we will take it from there. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to start when I was a young child, actually. I loved to pretend to be a teacher with my friends. And we would pretend that we would have a chalkboard and some, seats to sit in, and we would have different activities for each other to do. I think I got that from my parents. Both of my parents were teachers, and they are now retired. My dad was a professor at a college, and my mother was a kindergarten and first grade teacher for 40 some years. And so I just think I had it in me to want to help others reach their goals. And so as I grew up, I took college classes and I started into the teaching career, and I went in the special ed route. So I decided that I wanted to work with special ed students, and generally in the elementary range, but I was pre-K through 12th grade in that. However, when I got my degree, I decided to have children with my husband, and I wanted to be a stay at home mom because I really wanted to be the one nurturing my children. In this world, we sometimes can't make ends meet unless we're working. So I stayed home for 4 years, and I had a daycare that last year that I stayed home. And I decided that we needed to work, I needed to work outside the home part time. So I was working as a special education teacher, and my kids went to daycare. I found a beautiful, loving Christian home for them when I was at work. So I felt secure with that. And I absolutely loved working with those students of mine. And I decided I wanted to get my master's degree. And so I found out about teachers of the visually impaired. And I found that very fascinating because my grandmother had macular degeneration. She is no longer with us. And she was able to live at home at the time, but her vision was getting so bad that she wasn't able to see much, and she didn't have the skills to cook or to she couldn't read the paper. There were a lot of things that she was unable to do, and then she had to go to assisted living. And I thought, you know what, if that was kind of I was so close to my grandma, that was one of my main things, like, what if I could help my grandma, and what if I can help other students who are not able to see learn these skills so that they know that they can do things. Because I think when you have those hindrances in life, you feel like you just aren't going to accomplish anything, and you maybe could have low self-esteem, and parents sometimes don't even know how to teach their child how to do those things. So
Yes.
I felt very, very, very proud to be working with the visually impaired. Um, I loved every aspect of it. I loved Braille, and I actually ended up getting my orientation mobility degree so I could teach them how to use the long white cane. Um, I just was kind of in that stage. Well, all of a sudden one day I see this email that says exciting opportunity. And of course, why wouldn't you want to open that? So I opened it up, and it said to apply for the Teacher of Tomorrow program. And I thought, well, why not? They were asking 16 people nationwide to be in their program. I gave them a call and I asked them if I was a candidate for it, and told them what I did. And they were looking for teachers of the visually impaired. And I was actually ended up being chosen one of 16 nationwide. Out of all teachers of the visually impaired, I was one of 16. And I was so honored because this actually led me to my next thing that I'm going to talk about. So I from this program, it was a year-long program, we got to go on 5 travels. And these travels were like to Baltimore, Maryland, Louisiana, Florida. But that last travel, um, and I should go back a little bit. Those travels were teaching us teachers how to better teach our students. So we were working with um, these these adults that are visually impaired under blindfolds, and we would be using chainsaws to cut, yeah, boards, I know. We grilled cheeseburgers with the grill under blindfolds. I mean, we were cutting meats like chicken, and we actually did plumbing work with the toilets. We changed diapers. We had real babies there. We were doing all these things under blindfolds, and that made me more confident teaching my students. And so I thought to myself, dear God, thank you for this opportunity. And I was in this last one, and it was Florida at a convention for the blind. And there were parents with blind children, and there were blind adults who were blind, or visually impaired. And I was walking outside of one of the seminars, and there's this mother with her baby, or I guess it was a 3 to 4 year old child, and he was really fussy, and he caught my attention because he was really upset. And I went up to the mother and I asked if there was anything I could do to help, and she's like, "Oh no, we're fine," and she started telling me her story because I was just talking to the son. She told me he was totally blind, which isn't very common. And so because usually people have some residual vision, but he was totally blind. And she was telling me that her son was very tactile defensive. And that means that you don't want to touch things in your environment. So when the early interventionist would come into the home to work with her son, he would sit and cry. And he didn't want to touch the toys. He didn't want to play. He didn't want to do anything, actually. And she was so worried about her son. And she told me that she started a garden in her backyard because she thought that she would try to introduce him to different things. And I thought that was the key, was, you know, routine, daily involvement in this garden of hers was key. So she started to tell me that he did not like the garden. He didn't want to touch the soil. He didn't want to touch the plantation. He didn't want to do anything. But she brought him there every day. And then he eventually started to touch and to taste.
Wow.
He started to smell. And then when the early interventionists were coming in, he started to work with them. And then she noticed that this educational gap was getting smaller, and he was beginning to open up. And so I
Wow.
thought, if this mother could do that with a garden in her backyard, what could I do for students of all abilities with the special ed umbrella, not just the visually impaired? We're talking autism, severe and profound, mild to moderate, behavior, sensory disorders, just the whole special ed umbrella. What could a sensory courtyard area do for students of all abilities? And so I flew back with a spark in my heart, and I knew, and it brings me to tears because I knew God was with me. So give me a second. Okay. So I really had faith that this project was going to help many. So I went back to Fremont, Nebraska, where I said I'm from. And I had talked to my husband, and I told him about this amazing story. And I said, I want to build an area for kids, for the community, for the surrounding areas, for free for them to come, because I want everybody to be able to come. And Tim's like, my husband's name is Tim, and he goes, well, how are you going to make that happen? I said, I don't know, but it's going to happen. And you know what? It did. It took 3 years and lots of presentations. I was not, and still am uncomfortable a little bit with presenting, but I was not a presenter. I wasn't a grant writer, uh, but I said to God, you know what? You're going to help me do this, so I can do it. And I just had that faith that I could do it. Um, I went to administration and I asked them if there was any way we could build such a thing in our school district and have it open to the surrounding areas. And they said yes, after meetings, of course. And I had to have pictures of what I wanted. I mean, it wasn't just like it happened overnight. I mean, there was a lot involved, but I'm telling you, God brought every resource that I needed. Whether I knew them before or not, people started coming to me the moments that I needed them. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to happen. So I raised 100 and probably 90,000 through grants, presentations, community support. I'm telling you, everybody was so supportive. It was great. But
Can I do this?
what's that?
Can I do this?
Yes, you may. Thank you so much. I'm not boasting about this. I'm just
Wow.
saying that because I don't want people to think that it was just me, because it was everybody. The support that was profound. And even my pastor told me, Mary, you need to write a book about this because nobody's going to believe the miracles that happened, because he said he didn't even know if he believed that it was going to happen. And he's a pastor. And it happened. But anyway, so um 2000, this was, so back then when it first started, it was 2011. So we're going to fast forward to 2014. The project's nearing the end. And I have 4 children. I don't know if I mentioned that before. And they were young at the time. So I have 2 boys and 2 girls, and then a husband. I was working full time, and I was working on my passion project called the Sensory Courtyard. So you can imagine maybe the stress that kind of came with everything, just because I was multitasking, trying to manage everything and make sure that the Sensory Courtyard was doing its thing. And so anyway, uh I just want to really quick say something, and then I'd love for you to show your video. uh I It was 2014, and I was to the point where I was not feeling well. And so I thought, well, maybe it's just because of all the things that are happening. And I ended up going through the end of the school year in that May. And I started progressively getting worse over the summer. And I just decided to go to the doctor at the end of July and maybe early August, and just ask him to do some blood work, because I was getting a sinus infection and I just wasn't feeling better. And there was lots of other things happening. And I found out I had acute myeloid leukemia. And as you can imagine, that was devastating. So, but I would like to share more in just a minute.
Thank you, my beautiful one. Here we go with your beautiful video.
Okay. Hello, I'm Mary Robinson, and I'm the author of Seed, Stem, Bloom, Lessons from My Faith-Led Journey Through Cancer. Yes, you heard that dreaded C word. Well, I want people to see the can in cancer. I'm a 2-time survivor of acute myeloid leukemia, and a gracious donor saved my life through a stem cell transplant in 2017. And I wanted to share my story so that I could help others going through trials. Throughout this process, I became a certified healing touch practitioner, a Reiki master, and I also want to help others reach their goals. So I started a business called Kaleidoscope Energy. I'm hoping that I could help you reach your goals too.
Oh, wow. Did you see the video now, my beautiful
I
one?
did. I did.
Thank you.
Thank you
So
so
I
much,
just
Senator.
Thank you. So I just wanted to tell everyone that you're going to continue with your story now, but I also have your book here, and
Oh,
I was honored to meet beautiful Mary this year in the 1st of May in Omaha, Nebraska, with beautiful Dar Geiger, and I gave her a hug, and we had a beautiful conversation. So I am busy with your book. I'm going to do your forward for your book, but I must just tell you, it is very inspirational for everything that you have done for the Century Court, but then what you went through. And you're going to tell us a little bit more about that. Before you tell us about your story, can you tell us the reason for Seed, Stem, Bloom for your book?
oh, yeah. That's an interesting story because it took a long time to come up with a title. You've written a book too. So, well, and almost 2 now, Soul of a Diamond. I don't know how easy it was for you to come up with your title, but it took a while for me. So, I had thought of several different things, and I was talking to my book coach about it, and nothing really rang a bell. My youngest daughter, at the time, she was maybe 14, 13 or 14, and she says, "Mom, I think you need to have the word STEM somewhere in your title because you had a stem cell transplant." I know. Aren't kids amazing? They're so smart. And I was like, "Gosh, that's a really good idea." So I'm thinking, STEM, STEM. All I could think about was a flower, I couldn't think much. So then my book coach said, "What about from seed to stem?" And all of a sudden I said, "Seed, stem, bloom." It just came to me. And because I think I needed those little bits of, wisdom, and then the lessons from my faith-led journey through cancer was just a big part of that, because I felt like the story starts as a seed. We start as seeds, and then we have our stem, and then we bloom, whether it's through life challenges or trials. And I felt like that was happening to me. And then, of course, the word cancer, I have the word CAN all capitalized because I want everyone to see the can in cancer. I think that when we see or hear the word cancer in our life, it scares us. And so, sometimes people go down that dreadful rabbit hole of doom and gloom. And I really want people to know that if I can do it, a two-time survivor, I mean, hello. And this was acute myeloid leukemia, which is a very aggressive kind to have. I'm not saying it's any worse or better than any other kind. It's just my story is, if I could make it through, how come others can't? And I want them to see that they can too. And it was full of loose gravel and potholes. I will tell you that, because it was really hard to overcome. But and I can go on with my story wherever you would like.
Yes, you are welcome to continue. Thank you for telling us about your book. And your book are on Amazon, and I'm sure in more other places as well. And you're all welcome to go and visit Mary on her website. It will be displayed as a ticker. So Mary, that thing underneath the TV world, I call it a Tigger. So the Tigger will come on again, and you will see Mary's website, and you can follow Mary. Her book is to buy on the website as well. So, my beautiful Mary, you are welcome to continue.
Okay, thank you. So when I found out that I had acute myeloid leukemia, this was the beginning of the school year in August of 2014. And I was thinking to myself, okay, your project is literally just like a month away from the grand opening. And you worked so hard for it. And how come this happened? You kind of, your mind goes through all these emotions. Like, I tried really hard to be strong when we told my kids, because I had to be in the hospital for several weeks at a time. And just because, I had to get into remission. And then I had to go through all the other chemo treatments to, win the battle for good. And so I did not work that whole school year. And the school district was so good to me and so supportive that they held off on the grand opening of the sensory courtyard till I came back the following school year. And you don't know how much that meant to me, because I not only had a reason to live for my family and my children, who I'm wanting to raise and shape into beautiful, respectable humans. And I also had the sensory courtyard that I was so passionate about, and I really just wanted to be here for it. So, I, for me, when I decided to write my book, it was because I was writing in caringbridge.org. I don't know if others have heard of it. It's a way to keep friends and family informed about your well-being while you're going through any kind of treatments or through health battles. And then your husband or yourself, you don't have to call everybody and tell them what's going on. Well, when I started writing in Caring Bridge, I was writing about different perspective shifts that I was having throughout this process. I wasn't just telling people about, yeah, I'm having a blood and platelet transfusion today. I was really digging deep, and people started telling me I should write a book. And I thought, oh, because I was going to write a book about the sensory courtyard. And so, and I hadn't told anybody. That was one of my secrets, everybody, that I was writing um, in private about the sensory courtyard before I even found out that I had leukemia. And so, um, I guess my story just changed. And so, that was giving me confidence, hearing from people that I should write a book to write more. And honestly, it was very therapeutic for me, but it was also really nice to know that I was helping others and inspiring others. And I still get messages from time to time asking, "Hey, Mary, I've either people that aren't even going through cancer. Like I went through a hard time. Thank you so much for that. I'm using it as a devotional because my book isn't like it's almost like short stories within the book, and there's different sections, and there's different strategies that I use to get through my cancer diagnosis. And I was hoping that those strategies would help others go through things. So anyway, fast forward, I get back. We had the open house for the sensory courtyard. I'm super stoked. I mean, it's like so many people showed up, so much support. It was just amazing. And we had a ribbon cutting ceremony with the Chamber of Commerce. And life was good. I went back to teaching full time. I will admit, my life was kind of hectic again. I am one of those type of people. I was very focused on career, and you know, cancer forces you to take a step back and reevaluate your life. I did focus more with my family as well because I think I missed out on a lot when I was working on the project. Even though it's a God project, and Sanette, you're a very busy woman as well. We have these God projects that we're just so focused on and want to help others, but yet sometimes in my life, I tended to go overboard on that side and miss out on the things that mattered in my family life, and I did feel bad about that for some time, but, I don't dwell on it because I know that I was doing the best that I could at the time, and my family is very supportive and loves me, and, um, I don't know, that's all I have to say on that. I guess I don't know what my point was, Sanette, but I had one.
It's
You have
okay.
something to add to
I
that?
I just had to bring you on full on the camera because I had to go and blow my nose, and I thought,
Oh,
I
yeah.
love that you have the whole screen up, so maybe I can do that more often. So, but you did a good job. You continue, so I really appreciate you. So, if I can ask you, your second time, can you tell
Oh.
us a little bit what happened to that? Because that is a miracle in itself.
Oh, yes. So, Sanette, I was cancer free for 2.5 years after that first time. And the first time I was very sick. Like, I had little sores inside my nose that I didn't know why they were happening. I blamed it on, dry skin or my gums. Oh, I forgot to mention this before. I floss every day. My gums were bleeding all of a sudden. And I said to my husband, "Why are my gums bleeding? I floss all the time. Maybe I floss too hard." I went to the dentist. I had 36 or 8 gum bleeds that time, and he checked my
Wow.
last 6-month appointment before that, and there were 0. That's another sign, not that that's an indication that anybody has cancer, but just things to check into. Um, so the second time, I felt fine. I was on top of my game, and I went to my 6-month routine checkup, and it was May of 2017, and they told me that the cancer was back, and I said, "How can this be possible?" They did a bone marrow biopsy just to confirm because I had several of those as well, and they just said it was plain bad luck. They didn't think it would ever come back again. And so, of course, you can imagine the devastation because it was hard enough to beat it the first time. And I just, I mean, yes, there were tears. And I went to my mother and I cried. And I had one day to tell my family before I went into the hospital to start the scariest process again. Although this time was a stem cell transplant. And last time I didn't have that. And it was very scary because I didn't know how my body would respond. They were going to do all the treatments that they did before, and so I knew how my body would respond. But this time with the stem cell transplant from a donor, um, I just was like, okay, there's a 30% mortality, but I'm going to win this. And they looked nationwide, couldn't find a match. They looked worldwide. They found 3 10 out of 10 matches, and they chose a male. So I have male DNA now. Yes, male DNA. And his blood type was A positive, and mine was O positive. So my blood type would change to his after the stem cell transplant as well.
Wow.
So I was ecstatic when they found this person because we were looking for quite some time in my mind. I'm like, okay, let's find somebody because I had to keep doing chemo to stay in remission until they found somebody. They found this gentleman, 48 years old, by the way, at the time, in a village of 450 people. Now, that's a God thing right there. And if you just go to, if anybody wants to go to bethematch.org, you just have to do a cotton swab inside your cheek and you're in the registry and you could save a life. Well, this man had to have been in there for quite some time because they like the ages or they want the ages 18 through 40 and he was 48. And so they took he had to go through the process. The person's like my insurance paid for it. He doesn't have to pay for anything. So they prepare his body by giving him shots, and then he donates his blood. The blood goes through the system that takes out the stem cells, and then the blood goes back in through the other arm. And his stem cells were flown from Germany to Nebraska Medicine in the Buffett Cancer Center where I had my stem cell transplant. And it was fresh blood. Some people's blood is frozen. That's another story. And the lady that gave them to me said that she does these all the time and these stem cells looked really great. And I said, I believe that. And my pastor was there. He blessed the stem cells before they were put into me. And they had a little party for me, the people in the hospital, just a little celebration because it was the stem cell. It's rebirth. It's a rebirth. So that's actually my second birthday. So I have two birthdays now, and my second one is my stem cell transplant, which happened to be on the day that I was baptized as an infant. Another God thing. I'm telling you, I was so watchful for the signs throughout all of this. I was like, God, please give me signs of hope. I really want to make it through this. And I watched for those signs and they came. They came, Sinette.
Wow.
So, oh, real quick, this is just really interesting. So, when you get stem cell transplants, they put them in like a unit of blood. So you have, your IV in your arm, and they put it in. I actually had a PICC line at the time. That's another story. The nurses gave me this flashlight, and when I put the flashlight on this tube, I could
Okay.
see the little stem cells, Sinette. These little stem cells were going into my body because you could see them with the flashlight, and they were going wherever they wanted to go, and they gave me life. Now
Wow.
that's a
That is incredible. Wow, I'm crying.
I'm just so fortunate to be here. And yes, Sinette, I do have to say, I did have a little bit of survivor's guilt. I don't know if other people have gone through that when they've survived and you've lost friends along the way. Because when you're in the hospital for weeks on end, you meet some incredible people, and you really become close to these people. We rely on each other to lift our spirits up because we are in confined walls. And the nurses become your family too. And I was in isolation for 100 days after the stem cell transplant. I mean, I really needed support. And so when I became friends with these people, there were multiple people. I lost 8 friends along the way, ages 18 to 73. That was so hard for me because the 8-year-old that I lost was really hard because his mother did my hair. She was my hairdresser, and I thought, why do some people have to go? You know, why am I so fortunate? But then excuse me,
No,
excuse me.
not excuse me.
But
That
then I
just
said,
means
why not? Why not? I have a lot to offer too. Look at me. I'm sorry I'm a mess. But I also want to say, I also want to say, those people hold a special place in my heart. And no matter what happens in the end with any type of illness, we're all victors because of the blood of Jesus Christ. We have heaven waiting for us. So no matter what, we're all victors. I just personally, I just was so blessed to be able to be here with my family whom I love and adore so much, and my beautiful puppies. I love my dogs. and and I just really want to inspire and help others get through difficult trials in their life because it's possible. And Sinette, if you don't mind me going on a little bit.
no. I'm just looking for my tissue because it went underneath my table here already.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know I was gonna get so emotional. I'm sorry. I'm
And I
that way
must just
because
say,
I'm passionate. I'm passionate.
and
So
there was one.
anyways,
Can I just say
go ahead.
something for you? There was one thing that you felt like, why you? But that is, I think it's just a human thing. And I know you for a year and a little bit, and I think you not only inspired me, but you inspired so many people. And even when you, Dor, and I think Mike, what is his name? I cannot for the life of me. If I do forget his name now,
Dan?
you went to you went to so many old age homes to tell your story. So I just wanted to say you have inspired so many people in your life already, and I only know you a year and a half. So why not you? I totally agree. You are welcome to continue.
Oh, thank you, Sinette. And I just have to say, you have been so welcoming and so wonderful to me. And I have no words to express my gratitude to you because I adore you. You changed so many lives. Thank you.
Thank you, my
Um,
beautiful Mary.
so excuse my um where was I with everything? So,
You
yes, the battle was won, Sinette, forever. The battle was won. My body accepted 100% of the donor stem cells. So I have male DNA. I have type A positive blood type, and now I have no worries about it anymore because I made it through. Yes, it was very difficult. The most difficult thing I've ever gone through in my life. But I have to say, do not compare yourself to anybody else because other people's journeys might be better or worse than yours. I mean, I was on the couch for several months. I was trying to get my strength back. I lost, at least 20 pounds. I looked at my daughter's piano, and there's a collage of pictures of our family on there. And in the middle of that was a picture of Jesus. And he said, I never said it would be easy. I only said it
wow.
would be worth it. I looked at that every single day as I was recovering. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to make it and I'm going to do this and I'm going to write a book. And every day that I recovered, I started writing and I used caringbridge.org as my template, and I dug so much deeper and I added lots of different strategies. And then I, I even learned, I guess, before the second bout of cancer, I learned about Reiki, which is a healing energy that you tap into the universal light. And some people call that God light, source. I like to just universal energy, God light. And then that led me to other things, becoming a certified herbalist. I'm just now a certified healing touch practitioner, and I mean, just multiple years of going through all of that led me to other passions in my life. So cancer had blessings with it too, and I guess I got closer to God. I mean, I was always a Christian, but I was closer to God. I learned about energy work. I feel like that also helped me through it. We have our medicine cabinet is full of herbal tinctures. I make my own. I know that's another hidden secret of mine. I make my own little tinctures here, and my little, if my kids are sick, they like, Mom, fix me a concoction. Okay, so yeah. So life is good. We all have battles, but we can overcome them.
That's so beautiful. So let me stop the ticker for now. And then, my
Okay.
beautiful Mary, before continuing, I would love to play our sponsor, Natalie McQueen's video. And then I will be back with you. Just 1 second.
Okay.
Hi there. My name is Natalie McQueen. I'm the founder of Gifts of Legacy. I am a book publisher and a legacy designer. I am thrilled to introduce my talking journal. This unique journal features recorded messages from 100 trailblazing contributors that we call our masters and mavens. Imagine a journal that you can hold in your hands and get daily prompts of inspiration from these mentor experts. I invite you to be one of our masters and mavens in our first edition on gratitude for $49. This is a low-cost, high-impact alternative to traditional publishing. I cannot wait to hear your inspirational message.
Thank you, my beautiful Natalie, for sponsoring the show, Side of a Diamond TV show. And then, my beautiful Mary, can you tell us what is your golden nugget?
My golden nugget is a life with meaning is a life worth living.
Wow,
Yes, because
I love
we
it.
all we all have meaning in our life, right? And if we I feel like that really helped me get through everything. I mean, my life had so much meaning, and like I said, I don't want it to sound like rainbows and butterflies, because it's not always. Nobody's life is. But if we have a life with meaning, we definitely have a life worth living.
Exactly. I love it. I love it. And we talked about your forever song, but you must still choose your forever song. And
Oh
we're
gosh,
gonna
you
not
know what? If I was to come up with one right now, I mean, that's the thing. Sinette, is this set in stone?
I know you can still change it, but I would love to know.
Well, I have to say, so many I love music. Okay, I love music. I always have. You could have seen me as a kid dancing. I would make my own little dance moves outside with the Madonna, Huey Lewis and the News, those ones. And I'd be outside dancing away, and I'd even like have my family during Easter time. They'd have to sit and watch my recital songs and me dancing to them because I loved it so much. So it's so hard for me to pick one song, but if I was to pick one that is meaningful, not necessarily one that gives me energy, because there's like I said, how this is too hard for me. But right now at this moment, I would say the song You Say by Lauren Daigle. Do you know that song?
No, not at all. I will go and send me the link, and I will go and listen to it, and we will have a dance to it. So thank you so much.
Well, I don't
Why
that's
that?
the thing. I don't think we can really it's kind of slower. It's about God loving us no matter what. We could
It's
feel like we are, nothing, but he sees us as something. So,
no, so
if you want a
even if
dance
you
song,
cannot
let me think on that.
no,
I'll give you a
no,
dance song, girl.
no, no, even if it's not a dance song, I have a person that have chosen the opera.
Oh, really?
And we just move to that song. That's all we do because you cannot really dance on that. I have a Beethoven a play of Beethoven, and we just move with that. So we're gonna do a movement with your song, but why that particular song?
Because I remember driving one day and I was having kind of a down day, and that song came on the radio. And it's You Say I Am Loved when I don't feel a thing. And I was like, you know what? God is good. Life is good. I'm good. And I need to be more confident about that because you know what? Nobody's perfect. And I think that I'm the most worst my own worst critic. And that song was very moving to me. Um I don't know, but I love like Paparazzi by Lady Gaga, that gets you jamming and anyway, but that song just
Wow.
came to mind, Sinette. I don't really know why it came to mind right now, but maybe it's because that
And
was what I was supposed to share with the world.
that is exactly what it is. So, my beautiful Mary, do you have a message for anyone going through cancer at the moment?
I just say, we all have choices in life. I was fortunate enough to have a choice between fighting or not fighting. So many people are killed in car accidents on a daily basis, and they don't have a choice. So at least we're given one. And nobody knows what somebody's going through, uh, um, as far as like we can be supportive of that. But I just want people to remember they're not alone in their battles. There are people that love them, that want to help them, and please find your your meaning, your reason for fighting because um, a life with meaning is a life worth living. There you go.
Wow, it's truly
Yeah.
beautiful. Do you have a message for your family?
Oh gosh, my family. I don't know how I could have done any of this without them. Um, you know, my family was so amazing throughout everything. Do I have time to share a quick story? Or are we
Yes, you do have. You have.
okay, this is kind of funny. So my youngest daughter, she was the funny one at the time because kids are so innocent. We can like go into their room all of a sudden and they're playing and singing and they just are having a grand time and it's just I don't know, they gave me joy all the time. Like they were always willing to help with the cleaning. Always willing to get me a glass of water. I mean, give me snuggles and kiss my arms. But this one story is kind of funny. So I was going through, it was right after one of my week-long chemo treatments. And so I would get kind of hot flashes and I didn't know what to do with myself half the time. I'd have a whole bunch of covers on because I was cold. Then I would throw them all off. And I must have been dramatic about it all. So one day, Shaylee was probably about 6 or so, and she was like, "I'm gonna go outside and play." And I said, "Okay, but you have to wear a jacket." So she goes out and with her jacket, she was playing for quite some time, but she comes back in, she throws off her jacket and plops herself on the floor and says, "I'm having a hot flash. I'm having a hot flash." And I was like, oh my gosh, Tim, I have to talk to my daughter about hot flashes because she's a little young for this. I must be a little dramatic with my with my own personal issues. But just things like that happen. It's just makes life fun. And Shaylee would be on the swing and she'd be like, "Mom, come swing with me." It brought me back to that childhood like curiosity and adventure for life. I think that was very helpful.
And you didn't you didn't stop with your childlike happiness and adventure. Oh,
No, I don't think I did. I think you know, not only being a teacher, because I still teach, I'm part-time teacher, and then I also do the energy work, with healing touch and whatnot. I think being with students has really kept that alive in me. And even though my kids are older now, they're ages 23 to 16, um, we still have so much fun. Oh my gosh. And I don't know. We go kayaking. I mean, it just looks a little bit different now. We love outdoors. And, you know, I don't know what my life would be like without him. And it's not
and
all perfect. Like I said, nobody's life is, but we genuinely are close and we love each other.
Thank you. And then we have time for one more message that you can give to Tim.
Okay. So do you have uh so I can come up with anything? Okay.
Anything?
You know, I think it's good to be in the moment, stay present, and not try to worry about the future. I feel like worry just brings the things that you don't want back to you. So I try not to worry about things. I know it's easier said than done. I give it to Jesus. Sometimes it comes back, and then I give it back to Jesus. But um, really being present and having that quality time with others, whether it's your family, friends, and being a good listener. That's kind of what I want to share. Is just sometimes we just want to be heard, Sinette.
Exactly, and seen exactly. So, my beautiful Mary, thank you so much for coming through, telling your story. So, I written a song. Well, I thought it was a poem, but I wanted to have it in a song, and I had the previous episodes where I had somebody read the poem for me, but in the meanwhile, I had Rick Duggle that have sang, composed, and sang the song for me. So you will be the first show that I will actually play his song. Are you ready to hear his beautiful song? You can just move with me.
Okay, I got the grooving going.
My beautiful ladies and gentlemen, are you happy and are you feeling like $1 million? And do you would love to move with me and Mary? They said yes, they said yes. Here we go.
In the diamond moments of love and
Let
light.
me just stop it. I don't know why it's not playing from the beginning. And I don't there you are. There you are.
Moments of moving from there to here. Between the stars and the moonlight's glare. Capturing a glimpse of the light so rare. Brightly shining, our hearts declare. Radiant hearts, you shine so bright. In the diamond moments of love and light. In the warmth of the love we show. The golden glimpse of our diamonds glow.
What do you think about the song?
I'm in love. I'm in love. Did you write that?
I wrote it and he composed it and he gave his beautiful voice to this. And I said to him, I want.
Sinette, you are so magical. You're so talented. It's beautiful. I want a copy.
So what you the first one I'm playing it for, but what I will do, I will put it on our private group, Son of a Diamond, and then you all can listen to it. But if you hear it, I tell you, you are a diamond. You are bringing brightness to us on the show, so you can hear my wording. Is just to say thank you for being amazing, and thank you for being in my life. And as it we are at the end of the show, I just quickly want to, and I said no shout out, but I just want to say happy and wood to dance. And um, I loved it. That was amazing. Oh, thank you, my beautiful, oh, Michelle, thank you. So, my beautiful Mary, have an amazing day. Thank you for giving us your heart, your beautiful soul, and your inspirational story. And my viewers out there, I hope that you have enjoyed this show. And always remember that you are amazing, that you are beautiful, that you are loved, and that you are enough. And that spells able. you're able to live. I must say, have
That's
a beautiful
beautiful.
day. Bye bye, everyone.
Thank you, Sinette.